As I'm making this video, it is currently May 24th, which means it's in the middle of the break issued by Judge Merchan over Donald Trump's hush money case. This upcoming Wednesday, which will be 2 days after Memorial Day, the jury will come back and there will be some deliberations. The judge will issue instructions to the jury and they will have to determine whether or not Donald Trump is guilty or not of the charges faced against him. Here's my opinion in regards to the verdict. In spite of the fact that it takes place in New York, in spite of the fact that it's heavily Democrat, in spite of the fact that there's so much political bias in regards to just this case, and let's just be honest, there is political bias in this case, I think that's going to lead to a hung jury. I'm no kidding. I believe that there will be at least one juror who either believes Donald Trump is heavily not guilty or he's heavily guilty. Definitely on the different sides of the spectrum, to the point where there will not be a unanimous a unanimous verdict in regards to the case. And that will hold up a whole lot of possibilities in the future should this verdict come about. Now, here's the reason why I say this. The star witnesses, in all honesty. Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen. They honestly have so many problems in regards to their own stories that it honestly is pretty damning. Not to Donald Trump, but to the prosecution. Here's the thing with Stormy Daniels. She effectively says that Donald Trump paid hush money to her in order to make sure that this is not leaked to the public. And yet, not only does she hate Donald Trump, especially politically, not only does she admit that she has an incentive to go against Donald Trump, especially in regards to this case, but she also admits she wants to sell her story in order to make money. She actually mentioned this within her own testimony. I will actually be putting in Robert Guerra Esquire's video in regards to both Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen down in the description down below, should you guys decide to check it out. They're about 30 to 45 minutes long per video. So if you're interested in learning about that, take a little bit of time off. But seriously, that's just in the case of Stormy Daniels. But in the case of Michael Cohen, there's the fact that he has been prosecuted and convicted over falsifying many business records, and has since been sent to jail. And not only that, he admits on the stand that he stole from Donald Trump, or at the very least the Trump organization, $30,000 to $60,000 because he was not being paid as much as he was in the past by falsifying business statements. This is by the way, just want to make sure that I want everyone to understand something. This very charge of falsifying business records is the same one being claimed on Donald Trump. And this goes to show that there's a potential that Donald Trump or the Trump organization did not even know about this. And that alone, all of this gives possible reasonable doubt. And considering that, I honestly think that there will be at least a few people on the jury that say, no, we can't, this seems really weird. In fact, honestly, if you guys look at Stormy Daniels' case of her being a little too graphic in regards to the supposed sexual acts that she had with Donald Trump, I would honestly be a little bit creeped out, as well as being a little bit confused due to the fact that I don't see how it's relevant to the case. I mean, again, we're talking about falsifying business records over to Stormy Daniels, not over a supposed sexual assault case. Especially considering the fact that this, just specifically from my perspective, this is the first time I've ever heard of that. And honestly, I don't really much trust Stormy Daniels anyway. But continuing on, just by that alone, there's so much reasonable doubt here that I don't think that this jury will come to an effective conclusion. Now, here's the other issue as well. As much as people hate it, paying off money to someone who had an affair is not a crime. Or in regards to what Alvin Bragg and the prosecution are trying to push, they are effectively claiming that Donald Trump falsified business records in order to cover up for a crime that he's supposedly covering up based on said false business records. What's the crime here? That he supposedly screwed Stormy Daniels? I mean, as much as I hate affairs and that sort of thing, last time I checked, screwing someone is it's not illegal. So where is the crime in this sort of situation? I don't see it whatsoever. And it's just based upon me having common sense. It doesn't. I don't know where the crime is, in all honesty. But again, I don't think that there's a possibility that there will be a unanimous not guilty verdict. If there is, I will be surprised as all hell. Because again, this is taking place in New York. New York is a very liberal city, and New York does not really like Donald Trump. Although, to be fair, there has been a lot of people going and attending Donald Trump's rallies, in the fact that he's part of this whole trial. So, figure that with what you will. Although, I will also be making a video in regards to that. But this is going to be pretty... I would honestly think that there's going to be a lot of back and forth, maybe a little bit screaming, possible threats within this courtroom because of, again, how political this case is. They are effectively not only deciding the fate of Donald Trump, they are also deciding the fate of not only the legal system, but also the Republic in general. Because a lot of potential candidates in the future will be afraid of who is going to be in office, because then there will definitely be some prosecution made against them. But who knows? Honestly, I kind of see the potentiality of there being the similar situation of 12 Angry Men. There will be a whole lot of tension in regards to this case, and near to the point of it leading to a fist fight. At least that's just from my personal opinion. Overall, it will be a hung jury. Now, if it does lead to a hung jury, Alvin Bragg can have the possibility of appealing this case to the state Supreme Court. Although, I would say that it would be a bad idea, because if it does lead to a hung jury in this case, it will probably lead to a hung jury in the state Supreme Court. Or if it's not the state Supreme Court, then the top higher court within the state of New York. I honestly think that there's nothing that Alvin Bragg can do. Absolutely not. In the end, that this is going to go and support Donald Trump. It's going to show that Donald Trump is being persecuted. But at the same time, the very idea of a possible victory of a hung jury, showing that even the jury can't even have a possibility of a guilty verdict, will be a huge legal victory. Because if Donald Trump manages to either get a not guilty verdict or a hung jury, he will run with this. He will say that the state, as well as the federal government, has been persecuting him, and in this very instance, he will win. And honestly, there will be nothing that Alvin Bragg could do at that point, or even Joe Biden. There will be nothing for either of them to do, because Donald Trump faced the persecution head on. And in the end, if he does get a hung jury, and if he is getting a not guilty verdict, although that's less likely in comparison to a hung jury, and an even lesser likely possibility of a guilty verdict, he will win. And in the case of him supposedly getting a guilty verdict, he can still appeal to the higher courts over this situation, and now the liberals will have, or well, the leftoids will have to deal with the fact of how are they going to punish Donald Trump in this case, and how are they going to try to do this in a way that doesn't backfire on them politically, which, let's just be honest, it already is. Either way, Donald Trump basically has them in the corner. A lot of the left is not as enthused about this case as they were in the past, and it's completely obvious why that's the case. My name is Noam Hean on the Arc Truth. Please put your comments down below, like this video, subscribe, and share with friends. Also, if you have any issues regarding my videos, such as how I speak, or any improvements whatsoever, please post it in the comment section down below or directly message me. Thank you.